Well, I'm on day 2. I am finishing up in the circle of life. Yesterday kind of did all this. I'm going to hit that spot over there. Um, it's been a little bit longer of a video than I was thinking it was. Oh, whoops. Than I was thinking it was going to be. We've got 176. I am a little later in the day. So I'm just doing this like kind of weaving. Little later in the day so that I didn't have to fight the sun so much. I went out this morning. I got all of my palm trees out, all of my ferns out. Got the outdoor furniture set going. Checked the sprinklers. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I said hello to one of my little lizards that lives out there. 169. Poor little lizard, I scared it. When I turned the sprinklers on, it hit the bush that it's been living in. And it came running out, and then as it was running out, it saw me, and then it panicked. I thought for sure it was going to have a heart attack right there on the cement. I was like, oh, buddy, don't worry. I promise it won't hurt you. All the birds were out. Everybody's fighting for supremacy. We have some birds. One of the power guys, he called it a kite. I've never heard of those before. I thought they were kind of like a hawk, but apparently there is a difference between them and a hawk. So it's like, okay. They have been out fighting with the crows all day. Back to 252. This is the pencil I gave such a tongue lashing to yesterday. But I'm actually enjoying it. It does a good job. Or for me, it does a good job as far as what I'm hoping to accomplish. But yeah, the kite came down. I think it was going after one of the nests across the way. The crows came in and they were squawking and calling everybody in. It's amazing to watch them. It didn't take but like less than a minute. One of the crows started crowing, and there was just a mass amount of crows that came, started chasing the kite around. Then the other kite, the partner of the kite came, and they were just, oh man, it was a thing. Oh, we are on 283. So today I'm trying to finish up coloring pages. I don't know if I'm going to have that many for February. And I'm like, oh, bummer. But the better joy is helping people get started in coloring. And the more people that can be introduced to it, I think is the better. So it's worth it to me. But I am definitely going to be putting numbers on these because these numbers are very difficult for me to see. And it could be my lights. So last night, I took my smaller set of these pencils to my coloring chair and kind of played with them in small victories, just trying to get to know them better. And I was having a hard time seeing them there too. So I'm going to have to take the time and get them all labeled. Okay. So that may not. Okay. So we'll go back to the black, which is 199, and want to go just probably should sharpen that pencil, but not a lot, just enough to kind of give a little bit of a shadow, or a little bit, I guess not so much of a shadow, but, and I don't want to say a highlight either because it's a dark color, but help make it stand out. How about that? It doesn't have to be perfect. Well, at least for me, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's your coloring book. you do it to any degree that you want to do it to, because it's your coloring time. And I'm so glad you guys are here for my coloring time. I appreciate it. You guys have left such kind messages. I really appreciate it. It is hard to know sometimes what people want to see and what they don't want to see. So I do appreciate you guys, giving suggestions, because it is hard to come up with content every once in a while. And I'm sorry about this one yesterday. Oh, I was all the way down here. I am going to try to edit it out, but then I'm like, well, should I keep it in? I guess you'll find out when I post it. Okay, so now I'm going to go up here. I probably should have colored this the same time just to kind of keep the same colors, but I'm not so sure I necessarily want the same colors. So this is 176, and I'm just going to hit it in waves. I wonder if that makes sense. It's not the best way to do metal, but it's a quick way to do metal. And already, I think yesterday was like an hour and a half. I'm really going to edit it down. Sorry, I promised I wouldn't do that, but the picking of colors was just so beyond, it bored me. It'll definitely bore you guys. 283 again. So I'm trying to make it as quick as possible until I figure out like what everybody likes. Some people like chitty chat, some people like quiet. So in yesterday's video, there's going to be a little bit of both. I am a chatty Cathy, just by nature. I was born that way, and I practiced it most of my life. I would be the one who would talk to everybody in the classroom. The teacher would be like, oh, please, Nixie, be quiet. Like, I want to go outside and play. It's like, no. And then through my life, I was paid ransomly. I was paid very well to be the talker. So in the end, oh, sorry, bad again, 176. So my talking skills gave me a good life, gave me a happy life. And so talking is usually not my problem. But it's easier when I know what people want to hear. Okay, that's good. Oh, so yeah, I will say yesterday, after I went to my doctor's appointments, I don't know any news yet, so fingers crossed. It's going to be a little bit, but as I was going back and forth, I needed, we started a puzzle. We didn't do very well with it. It's there, but it needs to move. And so I stopped into Joann's. I knew that some of their stores were closing, but I guess all their stores are now going to close, which is kind of a bummer. 177. To be honest, my Joann's has been suffering for years. I mean, I remember their air conditioning went out and they were struggling to pay for it. And then, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe it was a year and a half ago, I walked in and everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. And I was like, whoa. And there had been ladies that had worked there for like 30 years. I don't know if the company's been around for 30 years, but it was like forever. They'd been there since the dawn of time. They'd all been replaced. The people that were there were like, they could care less. They didn't even know. They didn't even know what fabric was, more or less anything else. Okay, so back to the 252. They weren't restocking a lot of stuff. So when I was getting ready to go, sweet Mr. Nixie sent me a text message. He's like, hey, sorry. I was like, oh, and I read it and I was like, oh man, bummer. But anyway, it was after my appointments. I wanted to go in. So I did, and it was sad. It was sad. Even though my location wasn't slotted to close in the first round of 500 and something, it definitely is barely on life support. So it is sad to see Joanne go. It was a great place, but apparently, I guess everything has its moment, I guess. Okay. Oh, I like that better than that. And maybe it's because I used that Van Dyke Brown. So bear with me really quick while I find oh, no, no, no. It was the walnut. I think it was the 177 or the Van Dyke Brown. So at any rate, it was just sad. Yeah, the Van Dyke Brown, I think, is what it was. Okay, so a little edit. We're going to put a little bit more in here. I kind of went for, so I went for a puzzle roll up. And I was like, my gosh, I can see why you guys are going out of business. Their price was so incredibly high for this puzzle roundup that I was like, that's just insane. But then I went over, I wanted to look at some of the Tim Holtz distressed pencils, water pencils. Again, their price was out of control, completely out of control. I was like, yeah, not good. Then I went over to their coloring book section, and just a couple of weeks ago, they still had books there. The coloring books were gone, and it's not that they were sold because the sale that they had was 20% off. So, I mean, that's a good deal, but it's not like, it's not an earth-shattering deal. So most of their books were gone. And all they had really, it's the first time I ever saw Creative Haven there in magazine, and they had a plethora of them. So I did I think it's the Pet. It's the one that has Hannah Lynn in there. And I'd always wanted to try one of those books because I love Hannah Lynn, but I wanted to try Better Paper. Okay, that still looks better than that, but I'm going to go with it. So you know what? I think that's good for today. That was like super short, but I wanted to, I'll do all of this tomorrow, this and this tomorrow, but at least it gets us where we have to go right now. But you know what? I digress. I should have, no, yeah, we'll do this tomorrow. So sorry. So at any rate, this was a short one for today, but at least we kind of finished this section up. Tomorrow we'll finish out this section, and then hopefully the next day we'll finish out that section. So hopefully you guys have a good one, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.